The Switch 2 is coming within a couple months at this point, and I know we're excited to actually get a new Nintendo console, but the main reason people are excited for new Nintendo consoles are new Nintendo games. It's no secret that this game company is so successful because of their first-party exclusive games. And since we already know about Mario Kart and I already made a full video on it, I wanted to speculate about what else we can expect on that Switch 2. Not just a wish list like I've already done, but speculate and actually use evidence to figure out what we might be getting. Namely for this video, the new Mario platformer game. Because I think I have a pretty good idea. And it's starting with the fact that I don't think it's Odyssey 2. If we're going over the history of Mario platformers, most of them exist within a series, like Super Mario Bros., New Super Mario Bros., and the like. The only time we've gotten direct sequels to games are New Super Mario Bros. 2 and Mario Galaxy 2. Other than that, games come out within a series, and they're a different twist each time. So already, the fact that we don't really get sequels in the Mario series is a point against the idea of an Odyssey 2. But I do hear you. Odyssey sold incredibly well. Super Mario Odyssey is one of the best-selling games on the Switch, and the Switch is one of the best-selling consoles of all of Nintendo, almost all of history. So I understand that Odyssey is a commodity, and it is technically possible, but it's been 8 long years. Consider the fact that when Mario Galaxy 2 came out, Mario Galaxy was only 3 years old. They released on the same console, and they were a direct sequel. So releasing Mario Odyssey 2 8 years later on the next console feels incredibly strange. But if we have a feeling that it's not Odyssey 2, is it a 2D game? Well, I also don't think that's the case, because throughout history, typically we've gotten back and forth releases of Mario games, 2D or 3D, starting all the way back at Mario Sunshine, where the new game was New Soup, and then we had Mario Galaxy, then another New Soup, Galaxy 2, another New Soup, then 3D World, and then Odyssey. Most recently, Wonder. 3D 2D, 3D 2D, 3D 2D, 3D 2D, 3D 2D, 3D 2D. I think that was enough? I didn't count. Since the last game was Wonder, and that's a 2D Mario game, we are due for a 3D Mario. That is, except for one explanation. There is a chance that the 3D World plus Bowser's Fury that came out on the Switch not too long ago is being treated like a new entry. Granted, I don't think it is. It's a re-release with an extra edition to make it feel more worthwhile, and I think everybody thinks that. But with Nintendo, you can never be sure. So I do see two major possibilities here. If the new 3D World plus Bowser's Fury isn't being treated like a 3D World game, then we might be due for a 3D World styled platformer. And frankly, I'm kind of hopeful for this option, because that is one of my favorite series of Mario. Happy New Year. So, Gamersupps. Look, you know them, you love them. I've been partnered with them for some time now. Gamersupps is the leader in powdered energy, gamer drink stuff. Dog, I don't know what they want me to say. They let me say whatever, so I'm just gonna be honest. It's drinks, it tastes really good, there's caffeine and non-caffeine versions, and if you use code RIDETOAST, you get 10% off your whole order, and it gives me money. Recently, they just came out with like chug juice. It's really good. It's like it reminds me of like a blue tropical punch kind of vibe. Like it's like berries, it's lemon, it's lime. I've been drinking it nonstop. 3D Land and 3D World are in my top 5 Mario games for sure. 3D World is probably number 2. So if we get this new 3D World game, I think it makes the most sense to assume it'll be like the previous 2, but featuring a brand new power-up. Like most Mario games, they like to introduce 1 or 2 new power-ups and focus them around those. Recently, we've had cats in 3D World, updated Tanukis in both of them, and in Wonder, we got the elephant. So I wonder if future main power-ups are going to continue this animal theme. Like sure, we got Bubble in Mario Wonder, but the advertising used the elephant, and the elephant was the main theme. So if that's the case, and animals are going to be the driving idea for power-ups moving forward, my bet for the next one is an updated penguin suit, allowing us to slide on the ground like the original, but giving us much better swimming for underwater segments, something that would make underwater 3D segments way more fun to play. But frankly, even though it's a coin flip, and I kind of would prefer a 3D World game, I think it's more likely that we're going to get a more weird and and experimental 3D Mario game. After all, the Switch 2 is trying to do one thing really hard, and that's differentiate itself from the Switch in power and specs. So I think a way they could do that without alienating their player base is use a launch game to showcase how much more powerful the Switch 2 is, and what you can do with it over the Switch original, making the upgrade seem much more worth it. So I think they would likely want to heavily feature something that graphically wouldn't work well on the Switch. Something like, I don't know, water physics. And sure, you could do water physics on the Switch, but think about water physics to the scale of Astrobot, something just incredibly in-depth and particle forward that the Switch would have trouble running. And if the Nintendo Switch Online service continues on the Switch 2, including its digital library, I think it's likely that we'll get GameCube games on launch. Again, to further push how much more powerful the Switch 2 is. And if that is the case, both of these would perfectly line up to help promote the newest launch game for the Switch 2, Mario Sunset, a long-awaited sequel to Mario Sunshine, a brand new game following in the previous game's footsteps, using FLUDD and incredible water physics, including underwater segments, to really showcase the Switch 2 and what it's capable of. Now I hear you, I just went on a whole rant about how unexpected sequels are for Mario, and I just went on a whole rant about how Odyssey 2 is unlikely, and I know that I said it's been too long for an Odyssey sequel, but it also hasn't been long enough to consider revitalizing it as a series. Whereas with Mario Sunshine, it's been long enough that this would honestly feel more like a remaster. A remaster for a fan-favorite Mario on a console that admittedly did not sell very well. Mario Sunshine suffered from something that a lot of GameCube games did. Like the Wii U, the GameCube undersold, so a lot of its games were doomed to obscurity, like Chibi Robo, I still miss you. But they included Mario Sunshine along with 64 and Galaxy in that re-release anniversary collection, showing that they're not ready to give up on that game. And seeing how well that anniversary collection sold, and knowing that 64 has already had re-releases and remasters, I think we're long due to get a remaster of Sunshine or Galaxy. And since Sunshine is the oldest one, I think it makes the most sense. But not just a remaster, a continuation. This is Nintendo's chance to give Mario Sunshine its time in the sun. And pun is definitely intended there. This is totally not just me coping because Mario Sunshine is my favorite 3D Mario game. That has nothing to do with it at all, totally honestly, and I swear, and I would never lie to you. Trust me in everything that I say. But what do you think? Obviously, a Mario platformer is one of the most likely launch games for the Switch 2. Do you think it'll be Odyssey 2, or do you think it'll be something completely new? My bet if it's something completely new, I think we're finally going to get that fully open world Mario, similar to Sonic Frontiers, that a lot of people have been asking for. But personally, I don't know if I want that. I like planned levels more than just massive overworld expansions. Although I guess Bowser's Fury kind of scratched both itches. We'll see. I wouldn't doubt if Bowser's Fury was sort of a test run for the new Mario in general. In the meantime, if you've missed it, I've been doing a side series where I'm making my own Pokemon region, and you can find the playlist for it right here. But until next time, as always, you've been watching Rytoost. Of all the YouTube channels, it's the second one. Stay toasty, slices.